Hello to anybody who watches this video. Um, my name is Jason Forney. I am recording a few dreams that I've had um, that I believe have some kind of meaning, um, prophetic or otherwise. For me, for you, I don't know exactly. I'm going to start with the oldest one that I can really remember. Um, and I'm going to give a little bit of backstory here. When I had this dream, my dad and I were not speaking. Um, I was still under the mindset and sway, hearing the things that my mom was whispering to me about my dad. And there was a lot of fear there, and I was still hiding from him. So it came really weird to me that I would have a dream about him, seeing him in the flesh, under some monkey bars, which was even more out of place. Like, I don't hang around parks and that kind of stuff now. But it was just long enough. I looked up and he said hi, and then I woke up. Now, a few things struck me about that dream at first. I had just been watching a lot of Supernatural, and if any of you had ever watched any of that show, you know, a playground is a gateway to heaven. It was guarded by angels. It seemed very reminiscent of that. And I'm not entirely certain that the dream there is exactly my dad in the flesh. He and I have since repaired our relationship, and that fear is no longer there. But the version of him that I see in my dream there is too young. It's a what I would assume is a heavenly body. It's him, but it's not him. It has some of the colors, I guess. You know, the black hair of a more youthful dad than even I remember, really. It's even in my teens, my dad had salt and pepper, best I can remember. So it's just a younger bodied dad than my dad was, that I recall, and certainly as he is right now, old and gray. Moving on to the next one that I can remember after that. This was separated by a number of years. I had a dream. This probably goes back to last year sometime, in the summer, I think, 2022. Just as a escape there. I was on a bicycle and I was pedaling really hard, and I get the impression that I was trying to escape from something. I was getting away from something. I was running, and I look behind me, and I see a hill that looks a little bit like the one here in Oak Hill by the Shell gas station. But where I'm going, the roads are not familiar to me. I don't know them by sight. And where I turned off from this main road was an angled road. It was not a 90-degree turn like any of the roads around here, or you know, it just kind of veered off a split. And I stopped in front of this rundown building, and I jumped off the bike. I ran inside this building, and there was no furniture or anything in it that I can recall. You know, like I said, it was a rundown building, and I went around some portion and got between some walls or something. I don't know exactly what happened here, but I ended up climbing up into the second story of this building. And I remember just being surrounded by brick, and there was a window and this window was covered in moths and other kinds of gray, gross looking bugs. And I remember inhaling sharply, and my mouth was filled with these. I woke up from that, and when I went back to sleep, it followed up. I was doing something, I don't remember exactly what it was. I was speaking, or I was in front of a bunch of people, and my mouth opened up, and those bugs come spilling back out at them. A couple of months later, I had another dream. This one was centered around warm hands from warm hearts here in Oak Hill. I know the owner, the CEO, whatever, Mike. Great man, love him to death. And in the dream, he was speaking to me, and we needed to replace some light bulb that was downstairs. And I said, okay, I'll go upstairs and I'll get it. When I did that, everything on that first floor turned gray and time stopped. Like, I don't know how to explain it any other way other than like a change of scenes in a TV show or a play or something like that. Like they dim the lights and just nobody moves until the lights go totally black. And I went to the stairs to climb. And when I started ascending the stairs, which is in the main part of the building that he originally opened, I went up 3 flights of stairs. And anybody who goes there knows that there's not 3 flights of stairs there. There's only just the one. And then you got to go to the back side of the building to go up the 2nd flight of stairs to the 3rd floor. It's not how this was. I went up one, I went up another, and then I went up another. And when I went up that 3rd floor, it was laid out a bit like the sanctuary floor is there, with the plywood, the stage. And I just remember seeing a crew of people working up there. And they were all in white outfits. Like some kind of maintenance people or something. I don't know how to explain that one. And I remember kind of like panning around towards like the middle of the room and just like wondering, okay, you know, where's this light bulb that I'm looking for? I'm not entirely sure. And I got in behind one of the individuals, and I tapped him on the shoulder. I was like, hey, I'm looking for a light bulb for downstairs. And they just kind of stopped in front of me, didn't turn around, didn't speak to me. And just kind of, you know, I felt like I should follow this person. And they walked ahead of me just a little bit, got out a ladder, went up this really, really bright lamp. And just reached their hand up, turned it off, pulled out this little bulb, little tiny bulb. Okay? Fit in the palm of my hand. Little tiny bulb. Extremely bright. I never got to see the face of that person that handed it to me. Ever. And I got the distinct impression that that was like Jesus or it was God. And I was supposed to understand just how much he does for me. And that he gives me my light that I need. I'm not 100% on that interpretation, of course. Because I don't believe I have that gift. But it's the only thing that I can make sense out of on that one. Now, that leads me back to, well, September of 2022, where I had this dream here coming up. I found myself outside of a church complex, and there was some kind of security or something like that. There was an outside building. I went and I had to go talk to the outside building because I was, looking for the church itself to start with. I said, I'm looking for such and such a church. I was invited to come and speak, and the people inside that building told me to go across the street, that there was a box to, put in the security code and whatnot. And excuse me, I got a little bit of cough here that I'm suppressing. I went to the box and I buzzed, the gate, so I can talk to somebody because I wasn't given a code. I said, "Excuse me," I introduced myself. I'm supposed to be here for speaking today. So they buzzed me in. They let me into the church, and the church was taking place outdoors. It was not inside per se, though a portion of it was. This was a really strange setup. At any rate, I talked to whoever I had to at first, and they handed me a weird microphone speaker looking thing into my hand, and they said, "Okay, just go over there on the stage and wait. We'll have worship queued up here soon. Don't speak during worship." Okay. And I went over, and in order to get onto the stage, I had to climb underneath of it, and the stage was made of a huge network of wires. I'm guessing speaker, guitar. Like I don't know how to describe all these wires, other than there were hundreds of them. And suspended among these wires was some kind of tarp or trampoline surface, something like that I had to sit up on. So I had to climb up between these wires, sit down on this trampoline surface, and just wait. And after worship ended, which I don't recall any of the songs or anything else like that, it was just a few minutes, up and introduced myself. And as I start walking around preparing to talk, I noticed that now I'm facing what looks like partial indoors. Like the side of a building had been opened up, and people from inside are staring at me while I'm outside, while I'm on this, outside trampoline cord surface as I'm walking back and forth on it. And they're asking me why they should listen to me. And, and I'm answering them. I said, "Listen," I said, "if there's something that I don't know, of which there's a lot, I'll help you find the answer. That's just me." I said, "But I do know a lot. But that's neither here nor there. I will help you find the answer to the best of my knowledge." And I woke up from that one. I don't know where that's going. That's an odd one. I'm not an evangelist. I'm not. I have trouble speaking to people. Even these videos are a little bit difficult for me to do, knowing that there's going to be some kind of audience at all. But I'm pushing myself through them because I don't know how to break the ice, to broach the subject. When I know something, I know something, and when I know things, I can absolutely speak at length about them. But I get flustered. My mind doesn't stay as organized as I'd like it to. That's my weakness. So that was the end of that dream. I'm curious about it. I don't know where it's going. Next dream. I had this, I think December, maybe January. I could look it up, but it doesn't really make a difference. I was in some kind of busy building. I don't know exactly where it was. I have no context of what I was doing in this place or anything. I had no idea of the time, nothing. Just simple grayish white walls, lots of people coming down this one hallway, and I'm just sitting in a chair, and as they're coming out of this hallway, they're splitting off to the left and to the right. And after a few minutes of sitting there, I see this figure, again, of my dad. This younger image of my dad than I've ever seen in my life, or that I can recall seeing in my life. I've been in my dad's life since I was 5. After being taken from him at 1.5. And I don't remember my dad ever being, this dark hair, this, again, I don't know how to describe it other than it's some kind of glorified body, some younger version of him that is supposed to bring to mind, or dad or father or something. But I stopped. I was like, wait a second, you're early. And I don't have any context, no background in this dream, vision, whatever it is, that I was even waiting for him, that I was expecting him. That one I look at a couple different ways. When I think about the the possibility of it being a glorified body, some kind of representative to help me to understand that this thing, this person, this entity is my father, and he's coming early, which my earthly dad, my earthly father, cannot. That's not possible right now. Okay. For those who don't know me, my dad is in prison. Okay, for life. He's hoping to get out, but I don't know if that's going to happen for him in this life. I won't go into the details there. It's largely not important. He's a different person now. That's all that matters to me. So, what I'm left with is my father is coming earlier than I think, or earlier than I expect. And with my previous video, you heard my thoughts on when I think our Father is coming. With the stipulation that I could be wrong. I very much could be wrong. There's a lot of stuff coming out right now that's pinning, 2030. It could mean this year things start. I don't know. The Lord's told me the time doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Which brings me to my newest dream. And this one was just last week. 5 days ago. February 9th. It's the only one I have a date for. Sorry. These I've just been kind of keeping to myself largely. I was walking around in what looked like a gym or a school or something like that. And I happened to look down a hallway and I saw my son and his friend, scratching at the floor with their feet. I was wondering what they were doing. I looked in there, and around their feet are circles of numbers. And something struck me as odd about them as I'm looking at them. And one aspect, I feel like I made the numbers there, but I don't know how they got there because I didn't see that it happened or that I did it. But these numbers are done in circles on planks of wood. And it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the circle that I can see. Some of them might have been, but I recall specifically seeing one that did 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. The numbers were split up and done in both directions, counterclockwise and clockwise. And I was thinking to myself as I'm watching my son and his friend trying to clean this in the best way they knew how. They didn't know where any cleaning product was or anything else like that. Neither did I. I have no idea where I was at. But I decided, since I had done this, I don't know how I did it again, that I was going to help clean it up. So as I turn around, I now have in my hands this huge, heavy-duty, looks like I'm carrying the front end of a chopper, Harley Davidson motorcycle between my two hands, like carrying it like Gatling gun style, and the cleaning head on this thing is the size of a scour pad for your dishes. So, I mean, this thing's got a big old engine, and you can hear it, just kicking around. You're expecting to get somewhere, and it's got this itty bitty tiny little scrubbing head. So I'm not getting anywhere fast at all. But I am seeing a change in the level of the dirt on the wood. And I was making a difference in that spot. It wasn't quick. It wasn't easy. It was heavy. But I was helping do the right thing. I didn't quite understand that one. But that's not even all of it. Somebody else came along. And like I said, we were in the little hallway section here. And I had closed the door behind me. Somebody came to the other side of the door. I could see them on the outside of the window. I don't know who it was. I couldn't identify them if I tried. I just knew somebody was out there. And they were pushing at the door from the outside. And it was flexing the doors in such a way that it was lifting the floor up, curling it backward on itself, and making itself scrape itself. So in addition to me scrubbing with this heavy-duty machine with the little itty-bitty scrubbing head, the floor is also scraping itself, helping move some of the dirt get further and further back. And that was the end of that dream. Some kind of bizarre dreams. But they stuck with me. For days, weeks, months, years even. They're coming more frequently. I don't know if they have a purpose outside of my own life and the things that the Lord has to tell me. If they're meant for anybody else. I just felt that it was important for me to get them recorded and find somebody who has the gift of interpretation to help me better understand them. Because largely I'm at a loss. I have an idea on a few of them, and I've shared that. I'd be blown away if that was correct. I want to understand. Thank you for listening. I hope God blesses you with this. I hope that it finds some kind of meaning in your own ears. I don't know. But I know through a lot of this, God does not want me to fear. He wants me to listen. He wants me to do something. He wants me to keep as I'm doing and trying to change and do more. He wants me to speak out. He wants me to clean the messes I've made. As a more literal interpretation to those dreams, I'm looking for something that might be deeper. Again, thank you.